Hey y'all, and Sandri, and a very Merry Christmas Eve, almost Merry Christmas time. I bet you're wondering what this is about. Well, this alligator I'm about to tell you about probably is not much like this. This is a nice little alligator with Santa, the one I'm about to talk about, or heard recently the story of. Is not so cute and innocent as that. In fact, I'm sure he would get a lot of coal if he was anything like the alligator I'm about to tell you about. He would get coal in his stomach. Anyway, I'm about to talk about the legend. It's probably a little bit more than a legend, but at the same time, you know, it's been around probably since like the early 1900s or 1920s. So could it be like I caught a fish this big? I'll let everyone else decide. I believe that alligators can get very big, and obviously they are prehistoric. So is it possible that such a creature does exist? Absolutely. Well, they called this the red-eyed demon, though actually they called Two-Toed Tom, but they also nicknamed it the red-eyed demon. It was heard by a guy back in the 1920s. He heard this tale of local folks around this area where I'm living at actually right now, in Florella, and round about to the east in like Esto and different places. I mean, the gator later got around, but anyway, he started out in this area. And yes, I have a little bit of, just in case he was about 14, they said he was about 14 feet long, which is still a pretty good size. I wouldn't want to meet an alligator. I wouldn't want to meet an alligator 4 feet or 5 feet long. And he would eat cows and mules and livestock, which again, you know, that can happen. But mules and cows are big, of course. Chomp. Anyway, Two-Toed Tom was called this because supposedly they say he got on his left front foot, all but 2 toes were taken off in a steel trap. That being said, the reason they thought that he was so, you know, like supernatural is because they shot him plenty of times, and as I will tell you in a minute, they even dynamited him. And it didn't faze him. Anyway, so near the swamps of Florella is where we start our story. He killed a mule of a local man named Pap Haynes. And Pap Haynes was having like a 20-year like war with this. I guess alligators last a long time. I don't know. And so him and his son got 15 syrup buckets with dynamite. They took it to the pond where he was, you know, at. They threw it in there and bang, you know, uprooted trees, killed probably just about everything in the pond. But then they heard a splash in another pond over not too far away. There were several residents, neighbors that had gathered around, and then they heard the splash and a scream. So they ran over to the other pond just in time to see him diving down, and the body of Pap Haynes' 12-year-old granddaughter. Oof. Is that him taking revenge? He's an alligator. He probably eats whatever anyway. So it ends sort of the sightings around there, and then he heads sort of east to the next county over, where people have had waves of sightings of the two-toed alligator. in the areas around Walton, Holmes, and Washington counties, which is, of course, we're in Walton County here, and he was in Alabama before that, but now he's gone over into Florida, and he's in this Walton County area, which we're just right by Florella, like it's the next town over. And then he headed east to these other areas, in Holmes and Washington. He was still doing what he does, an alligator does. He was eating livestock and everything else. They disappeared. And teenagers said they saw him, and they claimed that he was like 18 to 24 feet. Now, whether he was 14 or whether he was 24 feet, obviously, the big gator, right? Again, I know they sort of want to put it like a supernatural thing, and I believe in supernatural. But let's not forget, alligators are prehistoric, and so they can be really huge. And they did the same thing. Boom, 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 shoot, shoot, whatever they could. Nothing ever killed this. Then they saw him going in the 1980s, they spotted in Choctawhatchee River and Boynton Island, again in the 1980s. Now, I don't know how long an alligator can live. Maybe it lives long, 50 to 100 years. I don't know. I'd at least live 80 years then, but anyway. But it was, again, a two-toed with the same area. So could it have been him? Absolutely. I don't know. But they even got, the NBC News had come over, and everyone was trying to find him, rewards out if you catch him. And ever since then. And Esto, which was a town over there in Holmes County, that had sightings way back when. Used to have a festival up until 2019. Unfortunately, they stopped the festival of Two-Toed Tom because they only have like 200 or 300 people living there anyway, and people weren't as interested. As time goes on, and they're just not as interested in legends. But anyway, I thought I would throw that in there of Two-Toed Tom. Now, I one time had a surreal, I don't really want to call it a dream. I think it was more of an out-of-body experience I had, where I was like in a supermarket or something, like, I don't know, but I was at like Australia or somewhere, it seemed like. And I saw, everyone was running. All of a sudden there was a giant, really giant I'm going to say it was a crocodile probably. And I thought, like everyone else. And as we got on something to go away, like, I don't know if it was a plane or what it was supposedly, there was, and this was a big one, I mean, like as long as a house or something. There was one 2 or 3 times the size. That must have been like the mother crocodile. Well, and even in the Bible they have like mentions of these type of prehistoric things, and it was as tall as a tree or more. So, is it possible that there could be something like Two-Toed Tom? Obviously. I think so. But whether you believe it or not is entirely up to you, and we wish you all, from our house to yours, a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful weekend. I hope you enjoyed this legend and tale. There's tons of legends and tales of ghosts and Bigfoot. We've even got a Bigfoot around here. I'll have to delve into that in another one. But, yeah, I mean, there used to be, like, I think they call it like a skunk ape or something around here, or swamp ape, or I'm not sure, I'd have to look it up. But, yeah, we even have the Bigfoot around here, like Eglin Air Force Base and Fort Walton and all those areas that are, like, only, like, 40 minutes to an hour away from here. We have, yeah, it's exciting, so. I don't know, I think there was a recent one, actually, like, a year or so even ago, maybe even, of a Bigfoot sighting around that Eglin Air Force Base. But they still got bears around there. Actually, we got bears in Paxton too, believe it or not. But you have to delve way, way, way into plenty of woods before you see them. But anyway, so I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and enjoy take time to enjoy it with your family and have a wonderful time. And over and out, and hear sleigh bells ring.